Hi everyone, I'm Sophia and this is my partner Victoria. Today I want to talk to you about something that hits close to home: the impact of social media on adolescents' mental health, balancing benefits and risks. We're both older sisters and we've seen firsthand how social media is affecting our younger brothers. They're growing up in a digital world where likes and followers can shape their self-worth and where online pressure is constant. And we know that as a fact because we grew up in that world and we don't want them to repeat the same mistakes, as well as we want to raise awareness to all the teenagers that are falling into the lies of social media. Let me share a fact. Teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are twice as likely to experience poor mental health. This isn't just a number. It's something we're witnessing in our own families. That's why we chose this topic: the impact of social media on adolescent mental health. Balancing benefits and risk. We believe that while social media can help teens connect and express themselves, it also increases the risk of anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. That's why we need better regulations and educations, of course. One of the main issues is how social media increases anxiety and depression. Teens are constantly comparing themselves to others online. Everyone seems to have a perfect life, and that creates pressure. Based on the UC Davis Health, mentions that social media activates the brain's reward center, in which is the release of dopamine. And here are other factors that affect that. That filters can be great for love, but the ability to easily alter physical appearance and hide imperfections can create false illusions. And that creates mind tricks to teenagers. FOMO, fear of missing out, means checking on your friends and family throughout social media can make you feel that the other ones are having more fun than you are right now. Cyberbullying is when someone repeatedly and intentionally harasses, mistreats, or makes fun of another person by way of an electronic device, and it can severely impact self-esteem and mental health. Also, social media, like I mentioned, is a big source of cyberbullying. Teens get harassed through comments, DMs, and even like anonymous apps, and that constant negativity can really damage someone's mental health. And it can damage even more the teenagers' mental health due to they're still developing their brain and the cells, and that can really affect them deeper than we all think. Research clearly shows a link between excessive screen time and depressive symptoms. It's not just about feeling sad. It can affect sleep, focus, and even physical health. Social media can negatively impact self-esteem through various mechanisms, such as encouraging social comparison, cyberbullying, and promoting unrealistic beauty standards. Those negative effects can lead to decreased self-esteem and can increase anxiety and even body image. It plays a big role in self-esteem, especially for girls. Apps like Instagram and TikTok are filled with filter images that are set like unrealistic beauty standards. And I can tell that because I have social media and I know for a fact those apps share those type of contents. And teenagers start to believe that they have to look a certain way to be accepted. And well, this leads to eating disorders and feelings of worthlessness. Some teens even say that they feel worse about themselves after spending time scrolling. And that's a serious red flag. That's when you tell that a teenager is being affected by social media.
Now we'll talk about the benefits of social media in adolescence. First, like the social connectivity, which allows teens to stay connected with friends and family, especially if they live far away from home or go to different schools or just want to reach out after a long time of not seeing each other. And it also allows them to reach out to new communities and do network. And for self-expression, it allows them to like showcase their creativity, whether it is through sharing artwork, their writing, or even just opinions. And it makes them build a sense of identity or confidence. And also, like, having social media gives us access to resources, especially like when maybe you can go to a library or buy books. Social media is for free and you can just have access to anything you want to see, or if you want to participate in any type of campaign or do networking, that's also good. And it allows also to develop a skill like digital stuff. They can learn how to communicate effectively online. They can learn how to navigate through complex webs, and it makes a lot of creativity happen. For the counter argument, we have to address the point we just made, because some people argue that social media may not be the main source of mental health issues in adolescents, and other facts that may play a more significant role that is not specifically social media. But other contributing factors is that many experts argue that mental health problems can be influenced by factors like academic pressure, family dynamics, or even genetic predisposition rather than just social media. So it is important to consider all the aspects of a teenager's life, and not just like it's because of like the phone. And we also have to see that the correlation between social media use and mental health issues. These studies, like, there are studies that prove causation. In other words, like, just because two things happen at the same time doesn't mean one causes the other. And positive use cases often overlooked. Another point is that social media is often portrayed as entirely negative, but however, like, many teenagers use social media for positive purposes, such as like activism. They stay involved, and they make mental health support groups, or even just for learning. And another thing is that digital natives adapt differently. Like, finally, like, it's important to recognize that today's adolescents, often referred as digital natives, have grown up with like social media. As a result, like, we have to learn that we can develop mechanisms of that older generations may not necessarily understand, just because they weren't born with social media like we were. So sometimes, like, it's not just about social media, like the mental health things, and social media can actually be a good thing. So with all of these factors in mind, what are some solutions that can help balance the benefits and the risk of social media? Here are some strategies that we can adopt to encourage healthy use. For example, the education and awareness programs. Like, first, we need education, because we need to teach adolescents about the potential risks and benefits of social media, and how we can help them to stay more informed in their choices by developing like a digital and emotional intelligence course. Maybe teens can be better equipped to navigate online spaces responsibly, rather than just publishing maybe harmful comments or things they might not actually think through before posting them. And another thing is to always keep in mind that parental involvement is pretty important, because it's crucial, because parents can set the boundaries for screen time. They can monitor the content that their children are always engaging with. And most importantly, like, always keep in mind that teenagers like need to have a close relationship with their parents, because they need to have an older model to look up to. And also, like, platform accountability. Social media platforms also have a responsibility. We need to advocate for like social media companies to implement features that promote a well-being, like better content moderation, not just like letting everyone post whatever they want, because then it's going to be a huge mess like it currently is. So like, also like, involve yourself in making your platforms better, like submit reports, submit like things you would like to change. And always practice mindful social media, like always take like digital detoxes or schedule offline activities. Like, don't make your whole day around social media and what other people are posting. Like, actually have hobbies and involve yourself in the real world relationships, because this is so essential for mental health. And also Finally, creating more peer support networks online where teens can share experiences and advice in safe spaces, and this can have such a positive impact. And these networks can help teens feel less like isolated or alone and more empowered when it comes to mental health issues. And to have a community, it's always so helpful because you have other people you can relate to and not navigate like through social media alone. That's why it's so important to have someone you can relate to and you can talk to and reach out whenever you feel like social media gets a little bit too much.
Like Victoria said, social media contacts teens like never before, but also it brings us serious risks. We believe that with better education, guidance, and platform tools, we can make social media a healthier space for adolescents. So social media isn't going away, so let's make it work for teens, not against them.